Be prepared, because what you lived through yesterday was not just a fleeting celestial event. The eclipse may have looked as though it ended when the shadow slipped away from the moon's face, but that moment was only the beginning of what it awakened. It didn't simply unfold above you as something distant or untouchable. It ignited something within you, leaving an imprint that is now beginning to reveal itself. While many people saw only a blood-red moon glowing against the darkness, those who are attuned to energy shifts know better. You know it wasn't just a spectacle. It was a passage, a stirring, a spark that continues to ripple through your body and your spirit even now. Right now, you may be feeling strange sensations, changes in your energy, reactions in your body that seem to defy logic or easy explanation. You might even question yourself, wondering why your balance feels off, why your sleep is broken, why your body is behaving in ways that seem disconnected from your routine. But none of it is random. These are not accidents or coincidences. They are signals, proof that the eclipse is not finished. It is still moving through you, reshaping you from the inside out. The truth is not simply in the sky you witnessed last night. It is hidden inside your body, waiting to be acknowledged. Blood moons have always been more than astronomical events. Across cultures and ancient traditions, they were revered and feared for the way they stirred the blood itself. And perhaps that sounds dramatic, but listen closely. Even now, people are reporting bizarre and powerful sensations coursing through them, experiences too uncanny to dismiss as chance. It is as if the red that lit the heavens also awakened the red within you, the vital pulse of your own life force. If you are spiritually aware, you already know that awareness is everything. To ignore what your body is signaling now would be to silence the very message the cosmos is trying to deliver. One of the most mysterious signs people are experiencing isn't in the heart or the stomach. It's in the ears. A sudden ringing, a sharp, high-pitched frequency, or an invisible pressure pressing inward. For some it lasts only moments. For others it lingers and returns without warning, leaving them unsettled. Science may dismiss it as coincidence, but the ancients did not. In their writings, this sound was known as a summons, a call to listen, to awaken to something greater. And now, in the wake of this eclipse, more souls than ever are hearing that call. If your ears have been ringing, it may not be a flaw in your body at all. It may be your inner clock syncing itself with the shadow of the moon, tuning you to a frequency larger than yourself. And once you understand why it is happening, silence itself will never feel the same again. Others have reported a sudden collapse into exhaustion, their bodies demanding rest as if weighted by something unseen. Heavy eyelids, naps that stretch too long, a fatigue that no amount of coffee can cure. Yet for others, the opposite has taken hold. A restless energy, a buzzing current, a mind that will not quiet no matter how late the hour. This is not random either. It is the blood moon dividing its energy between bodies, some absorbing its weight until they short-circuit and are forced into deep rest, others deflecting it and vibrating with an overstimulation they cannot switch off. If you find yourself in either state, do not believe you are alone. The eclipse has marked your body, choosing how its imprint will express itself through you. And then there is the voice, the throat that feels raw, the dryness of the mouth that no water seems to soothe, the hoarseness that arrives without reason. For some, waking with a scratchy throat or a parched mouth has become an eerie reminder that silence itself is not always quiet. Sometimes silence is the body preparing the voice for what it must release. In ancient times, oracles who spoke after eclipses were often described as losing their voices before they found them. Their throats burned, their voices faltered, and then, when the moment came, the words poured out, carrying truths larger than themselves. Perhaps this is not weakness at all, but readiness. A ceremonial rewiring of the voice, urging you to speak, to sing, to cry, to shout truths you have buried for too long. Every eclipse forces something into the open, and sometimes the throat is the first gate that refuses to let you hide anymore. If your voice feels different today, consider whether it is preparing you to release what has waited too long to be spoken. Another strange reaction has taken many by surprise. Fits of sneezing that arrive out of nowhere, not tied to allergies, dust, or sickness. Some have sneezed in waves, as if the body is purging something invisible. In ancient cultures, sneezing was more than a biological reflex. It was seen as a release, a forceful expulsion of something that did not belong. And now, in the shadow of the blood moon, sneezing becomes a kind of reset, a clearing of the body, proof that the energy stirred cannot be contained. Each sneeze is a jolt, a push, a release of residue left behind by the eclipse. It is not weakness. It is your body's refusal to hold on to what the shadow tried to bury. Some people are even reporting sensations crawling across their skin. Sudden itching, unexplained tingles, patches of heat that flare and vanish with no rash, no visible cause. For some it feels playful, almost like static dancing across the body. For others, it is unsettling, as though something invisible brushed against them. What's haunting is how these sensations often follow patterns. A trail of tingles up the spine, a buzz across the scalp, a burn in the palms. In ancient traditions, the skin was considered the veil of the soul, the thin boundary between the inner world and the outer. During eclipses, that veil was believed to thin, leaving the body more porous, more sensitive to currents pressing in. What if these tingles are not random irritation but reactivations of circuits we've ignored, channels dulled by modern life now flicked back on? If your skin feels alive today in ways you cannot explain, consider it proof that the shadow of the moon did not just pass over the earth, it passed over you. And perhaps the most unsettling aftermath is the return of an old instinct, something primal buried under centuries of artificial light and comfort. People are suddenly uneasy in the dark, feeling watched when no one is there, startled by silences that used to feel normal. Rooms now feel charged, heavy, as if something invisible lingers just beyond sight. This is not paranoia or imagination. It is the reawakening of survival wiring, the deep ancestral instinct to listen for danger in the dark. Our ancestors lived by it, trusted it, and the blood moon has stirred it awake within us once again. The eclipse does not just darken the sky. It awakens the darkness within you, not to frighten you, but to sharpen your awareness, to remind you of the senses you've ignored. Darkness forces you to notice what light allows you to forget. The sound of your breath, the rhythm of your heartbeat, the small creaks and whispers of the world around you. This eclipse is not trying to terrify you. It is trying to remind you of what it feels like to be fully alive, fully awake, fully aware. So pay attention, not with fear but with reverence. The eclipse has marked you, and now your body is speaking. Through your ears, your throat, your skin, your instincts. It is telling the story of a transformation still unfolding. You are not simply a witness to the blood moon. You are its vessel. The shadow did not just move across the sky. It moved through you, and once it has touched you, there is no going back. When logic falls silent, when reason has no words to offer, there is still a part of you that listens. That inner sense, the one that feels before it sees, is stirring now. If you've ever felt it, the sudden jolt of fear when the lights vanish, the eerie weight in the air when you're alone, that's not weakness. That is your body's way of receiving a message. Something ancient has been stirred by the eclipse, pulled from the shadows and pressed into your very being. The real question now isn't whether you can feel it, but whether you'll ignore it or finally learn to trust what your instincts have always been trying to tell you. Have you noticed it yet? That restless pulse that has been moving through your body since the eclipse? For some, it shows up as feet tapping endlessly beneath the table. For others, it becomes pacing through the halls late at night, or shifting constantly in a chair, unable to sit still. Fingers fidget, hands twist and move as if they're desperate to discharge something invisible. Even silence itself has started to feel unbearable. Stillness, once a comfort, now feels suffocating. And you may wonder if this is just nerves, just another wave of tension or distraction. But no, it's far more than that. What you're feeling is residue. It is raw, ancient energy deposited into your body by the blood moon itself. The eclipse didn't simply pass above you like a spectacle to be observed. It struck through you like a drumbeat, shaking something loose that refuses to lie dormant anymore. That's why your body won't stop moving. It's carrying the rhythm of the eclipse itself, and it won't quiet until it burns its way out. Restlessness is not your enemy here. It is the living proof that something larger is in motion, moving through your life, moving through your body, reminding you that you are connected to something greater than the routines you live inside of. If you look back into ancient cultures, you'll see that no one watched a blood moon in silence. They didn't sit still, scrolling through distractions, trying to pretend nothing was happening. They knew. They drummed. They danced. They lit fires. They ran through the night, answering with ritual, movement, rhythm, breath. To them, the eclipse was never passive, it was an instruction. Don't just watch. Respond. Move. Let your body speak. Maybe that's why your body remembers this truth even if your mind has forgotten. That's why conversations feel heavy right now, why waiting in line feels unbearable, why the endless scroll on your phone no longer soothes you. Your body isn't begging for entertainment. It's demanding action. And have you noticed how the restlessness grows sharper the moment you try to resist it? When you tell yourself, just relax, just sit still, just breathe. That's when it becomes truly unbearable, because the eclipse didn't mark you to be still. It marked you to move, to act, to prove to yourself and to the universe that you are alive, that you're not meant to stay caged in routines that no longer serve you. Some of you will find yourself scrubbing and reorganizing your home at 2 a.m. without knowing why. Others will be pulled into the night, walking beneath a quiet sky long after the blood-red moon has faded back to silver. Some will pace in circles, their feet tapping out rhythms that sound eerily like an ancient drumbeat. None of this is random. None of it is meaningless. It's instinct. It's your body discharging what words cannot. And here's something even stranger: restlessness spreads. It's contagious. Spend enough time with someone else who's also carrying that eclipse energy, and suddenly you're both pacing, both talking faster, gesturing wildly, unable to be still. It's as though the blood moon stamped the same command across multiple souls at once. Wake up. Do not sit quietly. Move. This is why silence feels heavier than usual right now. It isn't absence, it's pressure. A pressure building inside you, demanding release. And release doesn't come through calm. It comes through rhythm, through expression, through movement. Maybe that's why you catch yourself humming without realizing it. Maybe that's why your fingers tap out patterns on the desk, or why your body shifts again and again in your seat. It's not anxiety, it's memory. It's your body remembering the dance it once knew beneath a red sky, when the earth and the heavens moved in unison and human beings responded not with thought, but with instinct. So if you feel restless right now, don't shame yourself for it. Don't try to bury it. Let it move through you. Let your feet stomp out their rhythm. Let your hands flow into expression. Let your breath become part of the release. Because the blood moon didn't give you silence. It gave you motion. And motion is transformation. Stillness may seem safer, but movement is what reshapes you. The eclipse marked your body with one truth. Transformation is no longer optional. And it doesn't stop there. Have you noticed the yawns? The ones that come in waves since the eclipse, hitting you at the most inconvenient times, even when you're not tired at all. Most people laugh it off, brush it away as fatigue. But yawning isn't always about sleep. Yawning is about release. It's about your system trying to reset itself after being flooded with the intensity of a lunar eclipse. Think about it. The sky itself swallowed the light, the earth held the shadow, and your nervous system mirrored that upheaval. Your muscles, your lungs, your thoughts, all charged with too much energy. And almost instinctively, your body reached for the simplest lever it knew. A yawn. A long exhale that drags the chaos out of your system. And notice how it comes in waves. One yawn calls another, and another, until your whole body joins in. Your jaw stretches wider than you imagined. Your eyes water. Your lungs inhale like they're drinking the atmosphere itself. This is not weakness. This is your system purging static, burning off what the eclipse left humming inside you. Yawning is not exhaustion. It's your nervous system releasing what words cannot. And just like restlessness, yawning spreads. One person yawns, and a room follows, as if an invisible thread connects them all. Science may call it contagious yawning. Ancient traditions knew it as something deeper, a collective purge. A ripple of energy proving that what charges one body can leap into another. So if an eclipse could charge entire cities with its shadow, What happens when those same cities begin yawning the next day? Perhaps what you're witnessing isn't just individual release. It's humanity purging together, resetting in unison. And here's another layer. Some yawns don't even wait for sleep or fatigue. They surface when you think of the eclipse, or when you remember how you felt under its red glow. It's as if your body stored the echo of that night and is now choosing the perfect moment to let it go. Even science can't agree on why we yawn, but maybe that's because yawning isn't meant to be understood by the mind. Maybe it's the body's universal language of reset, its way of saying, enough, let me clear this. And if you found yourself yawning at inconvenient times, in conversations that drain you, in moments where silence feels unbearable, take note. That's not accident. That's instinct. It's the same instinct that awakened beneath the blood moon, forcing you to release even when you didn't understand why. Every yawn is more than oxygen. Every yawn is a passage, a doorway out of chaos and into clarity. It is your body's refusal to stay stuck in the shadow. And then there are the tingles. You know that feeling. You wake in the middle of the night and your arm is buzzing, tingling, prickling with tiny invisible sparks. Normally you'd dismiss it, shake it off, laugh and blame it on how you were sleeping. But what if that isn't the whole truth? What if something deeper is happening, something triggered by the eclipse? Because eclipses aren't just shadows crossing the sky. They are interruptions of rhythm, disruptions of cycles so ancient we rarely notice them until they're broken. Our lives are tied to the balance of light and darkness, to rhythm and flow, rise and fall. And when a blood moon interrupts that balance, your body doesn't just shrug. It adapts, it signals. And what was the very first sign that something deep within you had stirred awake? It wasn't calmness. It wasn't peace. It wasn't the gentle sense of ease that people often imagine when they think of awakening. No, it was static. That sudden rush of invisible sparks beneath the skin. That odd hum of energy that makes you stop in your tracks and wonder what just happened. Think about it. That flood of tingles, that sensation of pins and needles racing across your body, isn't meaningless. It isn't just a trick of the nerves. It's a reminder, a signal, a whisper from something larger than yourself. It tells you that your body is alive, charged, electric, and woven into a current far greater than anything you can measure. The blood moon's shadow didn't just sweep across the earth. It swept across you. And when it did, it left behind echoes, pulses, tremors you can feel but never quite explain in words. The strangeness of it all is how it refuses to follow logic. Sometimes the tingles arrive when you are lying completely still, when every muscle is at rest and there is no reason for the body to spark awake. Sometimes they come when you're wide awake, going about your day, and they seem to ripple through you without warning. It is almost as though your body has discovered a new language, a new way to speak to you, a language that does not wait for your permission, a language that does not care if you fully understand. In ancient traditions, these sensations were never seen as weakness or random dysfunction. They were seen as the earliest signs of awakening. The tingling, the buzzing, the static beneath the skin. This was proof that dormant circuits within the body were switching on. It was the nervous system rewiring itself in response to forces too vast, too mysterious, to be measured by ordinary means. Imagine it. The same crimson shadow that stretched across the face of the moon may have also stretched across your very nervous system, leaving trails of static as it passed. And here is where it becomes even more compelling. For some, these sensations were not accidents. They were guidance. The sparks that ran through the hands before a choice was made. The hum in the legs before moving toward something new. The buzz along the spine just before a moment of sudden clarity. To those who understood, these were not discomforts, they were directions. They were the body aligning itself with something larger, preparing to act, signaling truth in a way words never could. So the next time you wake up to that unnerving hum in your arm or that prickling rush moving across your skin, resist the easy temptation to dismiss it as random. Instead, pause. Ask yourself, what just moved through me? What am I being tuned into? Because perhaps that rush of invisible pins is not simply your limb waking up. It is you waking up. But here's the part most people overlook. The eclipse is rarely felt at the exact moment it unfolds in the sky. Yes, the world darkens. Yes, the moon glows blood red. But the body is not so quick to reveal its response. For many, the true impact slips in hours later, sometimes even days later, when you least expect it. That is when things get unsettling. Because just when you think it's over, your body whispers that it isn't. Think of earthquakes. The earth splits open in a single violent shock. But it's the aftershocks that make people lose balance, lose sleep, lose the comfort of certainty that the ground beneath them is safe again. The blood moon works in a similar way. The spectacle in the sky is the dramatic rupture, but the body moves differently, processes slowly. It holds the energy, lets it settle, and then like an echo refusing to fade, it delivers the aftershocks. That is why so many felt fine during the eclipse itself, only to wake up later with pounding headaches, dizziness, ringing in the ears, restless limbs, or strange cravings they couldn't explain. This isn't random. It's delayed impact. The shadow that passed over the moon didn't vanish when the event was done. Passed through you, and your body is now recalibrating in its own time. What makes it stranger is that these aftershocks don't unfold in the same way for everyone. For some, it strikes like a sudden wave the very next day, an intense heaviness, exhaustion, or bursts of restless energy they can't control. For others, it's more subtle, disrupted sleep, odd jolts in the muscles, strange waves of emotion that surface for no reason. This staggered timing is part of the mystery. Eclipses don't strike once. They unravel in layers. Ancient astrologers understood this well. They knew that an eclipse wasn't a single-night event, but more like a stone cast into water. The first splash is the spectacle in the sky. But the ripples, that's where the real story lives. The ripples move outward, shaping days, even weeks after, touching body and spirit alike. So if you've wondered why your strangest symptoms arrive late, why you didn't feel them when the moon was red, but only after, the answer is simple. The body does not react as quickly as the sky. The moon changes in an instant, but the body resists, absorbs, and holds on until it cannot anymore. Then it cracks open and releases. This window, the hours and days following a blood moon, is not a period of cooling down. It is the ignition. It is when the body begins to reconfigure itself. When your chemistry shifts. When your nerves spark and fire in unfamiliar patterns. When the hidden imprint of the eclipse finally declares itself. This is why so many dismiss the experience. They expect the magic to arrive during the spectacle itself. They don't realize the fireworks are going off inside them later. Here lies the secret most overlook. The timeline of aftershocks is the proof. Proof that the eclipse was never just a show in the heavens, but a trigger woven into you. Every strange symptom, whether it's dizziness, ringing ears, restless cravings, heat surging through you, or exhaustion pulling you down, is not random. It is the ripple proving the trigger worked. It is your body singing back to the universe. So if you find yourself restless tonight, if your skin tingles with odd sparks, if your throat feels dry, if your limbs hum with unfamiliar energy, don't brush it aside. Don't call it coincidence. Call it what it truly is, aftershocks. Evidence that the blood moon didn't just pass over you. It passed through you. And here is the deeper truth. These aftershocks may not end tomorrow. Some will fade in days. Others may echo for weeks. Because once the shadow has marked you, it doesn't leave so quickly. The eclipse may be gone from the sky, but its imprint may live inside your body long after, reshaping you in ways you cannot yet measure.